Hello YouTube, it's been a while. To be fair, I haven't done a run for so long because I was waiting on results and what kind of views I would get if I haven't posted in a while and try to focus on my other content. But I want to be able to address the situation. Yes, it involves the predator catchers. And the reason why I bring this up, because I'm sure you'll be aware by the title, is why a lot of them are getting banned from YouTube and why YouTube doesn't want anything to do with predator catching videos because apparently it is in this case it is considered harassment in their platform because due to the fact that people are flagging the videos, um, there could be complaints like they probably notice like they see something off about the videos, people causing a disturbance, and yes, YouTube has become more corporate, but a lot of viewers look at it thinking that YouTube is trying to protect these creeps, and I'm trying to go with and speak and try to be realistic with you guys, try to be fluent, and the reason why I even decided to do this video was because of Albert Bostick, because he's trying to let people be aware about this, as YouTube is itself is trying to protect their platform because they can be sued. Because I don't know, I'm not really in their shoes, but there's something that for those who are naive, they have to be aware who you support. Because yes, there are people that are doing a noble job. I would consider these eight noble. Maybe the way they handle it isn't so great. From what I understand is that I don't know if you people are aware. I actually don't like people who e-bag. They get on my nerves, and I feel like those people have nothing to offer. But these eight that you see in the video, I give them my respects. I never really had any issues. The only thing is maybe they could handle the situation a lot better. But when you encounter these people, would you consider even being nice to these creeps? No. But at the same time, the reason why they're trying to entertain people because that's what they want. They want to see drama. Of course, they need to make money because I'm guessing they are traveling. They're putting a lot of expenses when it comes to gas money as well as camera work, and it does require editing too. So I do give them that respect because when I see people edit their videos and take the time to be thorough in these situations, yes, I do approve of that. But there are groups on this list that I don't want to include. So, but again, the reason why I'm also bringing this to, I think you guys also need to be aware is that like YouTube has made a change of policy. Like I mentioned, they are becoming corporate. Is if you record people without their consent, even if it's in public, one thing I do notice the flaw in these catches that a lot of the prayer catchers maybe because they're even though they're trying to do a noble cause, I'm not basically criticizing them going after these creeps or trying to put anybody down. But I think it's due to the fact that when they record, they cause a scene in a private area where, especially like for an example, a business that could involve like Walmart, it can involve a grocery store, hair salon, you name it, even a warehouse. So I would personally, when it's also very dangerous to actually confront these people at the job. Back then, I remember because when people did catches, they would actually wait for them at the meeting spot, but they decide to pursue them inside the mall. They decide to pursue them uh, besides the meeting spot. They try to look for them. Where when it was handled, they would wait for them at the meeting spot if they would actually show up. And if they do have, I also want to be aware is I want to confirm whether they have the proof or not. I can't say I doubt them. I don't want to make assumptions, but you'll do notice when they confront these putters and they provide the chats or they ask them who they're here to meet, they actually share some sort of confession that they were here to meet somebody. They said they made a mistake, that they don't know whether the decoy was lying about their age. They believed that they were lying about their age, and that they claimed that that person was 18 They didn't think they were actually serious about being underage. And that, they don't even realize that sort of like response gives me the idea that they're there to meet, they have bad intentions, that they're here to meet a minor. And even if they were, because the smart thing to do, especially if you're trying not to incriminate yourself, is just to keep quiet. Or just say like that you don't know what they're talking about. Even though I should not be giving anybody advice, these kind of people advice, but if you know you're not doing anything wrong, maybe it's best not to say anything or just like try to move on. Because you'll notice now with these catches that these predator catchers actually go up to them and confront them, where like not at the meetup, but where they actually try and look for the person that they have a picture of. But at the same time, they were stupid to send those pictures, honestly. Besides the pictures of the minor, that's a lot worse though. But the fact that these idiots would actually send their own personal information, I'm pretty sure that's how the catchers even trace them, is the fact they give their own identity. Not only do they give their phone number, as well as their name and age, where they work, and where they're coming from. That in itself gives them an idea of who this person might be, or it could be a fake. But that hints that maybe that person really is desperate to meet someone who is underage. But going back to YouTube, people are saying that they're trying to protect the creeps, but at the same time, I think it's a policy meant to protect anybody regardless of their acts, regardless of what they did. So in a way, they're trying to put it where it's like everyone is treated fairly. So it's like if there's any complaints, even if that person has a certain of criminal background, it doesn't, to them it doesn't matter. But if people decide to pursue them, and it's just like the police say, you cannot pursue someone, especially if you're becoming a vigilante. If you are a vigilante and you go out and pursue someone, you should always let the police get involved. The police should always be involved in that situation. So YouTube does not want to be involved with any videos that relate to vigilante justice or crimes, whether there are people who support vigilante justice against, especially against these kind of criminals. YouTube is also thinking about protecting themselves rather than the opposite what people are thinking. So in a way, there may be some flaws that Albert Bostic may be saying, like giving sympathy to these creeps. I don't agree with that, and I respect that you're being like calm, you're being like very considerate to people, and you're being more professional. The way you're talking, you're showing some type of gratitude. You're trying to be positive. But when there are people who refuse to get some sort of redemption, when there are people who refuse to change, there are those who will take advantage of that. They try to convince somebody they want to make something better of themselves. They try to improve, but in reality, it's the way to weasel their way out of trouble and try to hide their tracks, so that if they can't be found by that same person, they're gonna do it somewhere else where they won't be recognized. So that's the way of hiding tracks. So that's something that I need to remind Albert Bostic of. Although I do respect his language, he doesn't show any disrespect to anybody. He's bringing out his opinion, which everyone is entitled to. But there are some things that have to be mentioned that that can't be approved. Whether it's to have sympathy for a predator, or whether people should just let it slide and not think of the consequences. And then the consequences will come if these people refuse to make a change. But again, for those saying YouTube is protecting these creeps, they may be doing that, but at the same time, they're protecting everyone that deserves rights. And because, who knows, I'm not in their shoes, but it could be that, who knows, maybe whoever is in power, maybe the police or whoever is in charge of YouTube may confront them about this, because maybe it's their job to delete these videos and terminate those who are doing vigilante justice. Maybe it's because it's the fact that they're doing vigilante justice that has no place on YouTube. So that could be their way of saying they need to keep their job, and they're being told to do exactly what the higher ups are telling them, so that if they refuse, it may not cost them their life, it's going to cost them their living, because people need to work. So YouTube for them is a very important job. I don't know how much money they're making, but when you think about your job, it's 100% your priority. So you can't think of how emotional people are going to be. So they're pretty much put in a situation. It's like if for example, if you're a knight, or if you're a servant for the king, when you're told to do something, you do it right. You do it immediately, without any objections. You cannot refuse. If you do, yeah, it ends up costing your life. But in this case, because of how evolved you are, it'll end up costing them a job. Because trust me, back in the day, even though I didn't exist during those times, but if you refuse the king's orders, and if you decide to question him, he could immediately decide to have you executed, give you the death sentence just like that. And there would be no excuse to hear, like, because that's why some people do it. It is mandatory that they do it without question. So either way, those are my thoughts. But again, I do have respect. I do salute those that you see in front of me, because I feel like I understand you can get emotional in situations, because you like, not everyone can keep a calm face. No one can keep a straight face, honestly. So because imagine being in a situation confronting someone, and then they just constantly are being in denial, just refuse to listen, just just don't want to admit their mistakes. So yeah, that pressure gets to them, the catchers, because they are human, and they are reacting how other people would if they were in their shoes. So they're trying to let people realize that if you're doing this, your emotions will cause an outburst. So because for them it's just it's just outrageous that when you catch someone, there are those who don't want to admit it, whether they're a creep or not. Because some people always feel that the best way is just like to lie, because lying, yeah, people lie because they don't want to be held accountable. They don't want to take accountability because they are scared of the consequences, especially if it means going to jail with these creeps. And so people should understand what it's like being in their shoes. So maybe they're thinking YouTube understand, but at the same time, it's their job to do and handle the things necessary based on what they're given and what they're told. Especially because it is most likely they are falling under their rule, and employees must do whatever they can to keep their job. So that for them is a priority, and they don't want to miss it. And they're trying to let people know that because of these strict policies, you have to follow them. If not, you will be terminated, and you will not be eligible to be monetized, and you will not be able to basically create another account where you can possibly upload more content. Because how they track you is based on your IP, and how they know is like if you're because I don't think it matters whether somebody records the person that had their video channel or their video content removed. I think as long as they figure who is recording based on where they trace the video footage, where it's being uploaded, then they can tell who that person is, and then they can decide whether it is necessary to terminate them. But again, those are my thoughts. But this is just me trying to motivate my viewers and understand that YouTube is not taking either side. So, but again, hope you guys enjoy the video. Be sure to check for more upcoming content later in the future. Be sure to check your notifications, comment, like, subscribe. Thank you.